And then Vancouver is a few weeks later. We'll see how this whole thing plays out. And we're going to end up with a middleweight challenger for Khamzat Chimaev's title that he just won. So these fights have massive implications.
Dana White just dropped a bombshell on Instagram, officially announcing Chimaev's next UFC fight, and fans are already going wild. The Chechen powerhouse has his eyes set on UFC gold, and his plan couldn't be clearer. Capture the welterweight title, move up to middleweight, and retire as a two-division champ all in one legendary run. In classic Khamzat fashion, he isn't ducking anyone. He's ready to smash whoever stands in his way to make that dream a reality. But that's not all. The UFC 323 card is now official, and it's absolutely stacked. Merab Dvalishvili looks to make history with his fourth title defense in under a year against Petr Yan, while Alexandre Pantoja puts his flyweight belt on the line against rising star Josh Van. Add in Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot, and we're looking at one of the most action-packed cards of the year. If you love MMA news, fight breakdowns, and everything UFC, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the movement. Now let's dive right in.
He's a great champion, but he ain't never fought Joshua Van.
Two of the absolute best in the division.
The video starts in a funny, kind of messy way that shows real people just hanging out before the serious talk begins. Two guys are joking around about dancing and what's happening off camera. Then one of them says they've actually been live streaming the whole time, and the other person is surprised. That moment sets the tone. This show is not stiff or perfect. It feels like you're in the room with them. There's music, some silly comments, and then a quick shift as they say it's time to talk about real MMA news. The change from playful to serious makes the news feel more exciting, like when a teacher claps to get a noisy class to focus. You can tell the hosts love fighting, because even when they joke, they slide right into talking about matchups, rankings, and fighters' dreams.
It's a very important fight. It's a huge fight. You're one of the most dangerous challengers to ever fight for a title. This is a huge moment for you. Tell us what tomorrow night means to you.
Just gonna go knock this boy off.
This warm, casual beginning helps the audience relax and get ready for the big reveals. It's like taking a breath before a sprint. By the time they bring up UFC 323, you're interested, you're listening, and you feel like you're watching friends talk about fights at a watch party, not a boring, scripted show. That is why the hook lands. The show feels real. They reveal that UFC 323 will happen on December 6 at the T-Mobile Arena. This is a big venue where lots of major fights have taken place, so it suggests the card will be loaded with talent. Saying the date clearly matters because fans like to plan watching parties or even buy tickets. Putting a concrete date and place down also makes the whole event feel official and close. The timing is interesting because it's near the end of the year, a period when the UFC often tries to deliver one more strong pay-per-view before the holidays. People remember fights that close out a year, and fighters know a big win in December can set them up for title shots or big opportunities early next year. The arena choice also matters for the vibe. Las Vegas means bright lights, big shows, and a crowd that knows the sport. It's not just about who's fighting, it's about the stage. By showing the stage first, the hosts help viewers picture how the night will look and how the crowd might react. It gives the news a sense of scale.
Did any of you guys happen to see the training footage that just came out on Usman? He was with the Russian national team.
I did, yeah.
Will you admit that he looked a little better than that? I thought he looked a little sharper than I was aware he was.
He's pretty good, yeah, pure wrestling. He's got some skills.
You aren't just hearing random names, you're being invited to a real event with a time, a place, and a lot of energy. The main event, they say, is Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan. The way they talk about Merab shows respect. He's on a huge win streak, and he's trying to do something wild. Defend a title 4 times in under a year. That kind of schedule is very tough. It means constant training, little time to heal, and almost no breaks between camps. Most champions fight maybe twice a year. Merab is going at double speed. They explain that he even went to the UFC offices days after his last defense and said he wants the record. That detail matters. It shows he's not forced into this. He's choosing it. Then there's Petr Yan, who is known for sharp boxing, strong defense, and fighting top competition. The matchup is more than just 2 names. It's a test of styles. Can Yan keep the fight standing and pick his shots? Can Merab drag him into a tiring, grinding pace that breaks people? Telling this story helps the audience understand why this main event is compelling.
Like I said, I don't care any other fight, lost against whoever, but lost against him, I don't know, I should kill myself or something, because he's a great fighter, like I said before, but he's a little bit cocky.
It's not just who wins, it's what happens when a relentless wrestler meets a clean striker with great timing. It's also a story about endurance and risk. If Merab pulls it off, he sets a record. If he doesn't, people will say he took on too much. That tension is exciting. The co-main event is Alexandre Pantoja defending his flyweight belt against Josh Van, a fast-rising contender. They point out that Josh Van has been winning a lot in a short time. That makes him dangerous because momentum in the flyweight division often leads to big upsets. Flyweights are fast. One small mistake can flip a fight. Pantoja is known for slick grappling and heart. He doesn't quit when things get hard. Van, on the other hand, is hungry and young, and he's trying to make a name on a big stage. The hosts frame it as a test of timing and readiness. Is Van getting this shot at the perfect moment when his confidence is high and his skills are sharp? Or is Pantoja too experienced, too tricky, and too composed to let a hot prospect take his belt? Breaking it down like this helps fans who may not follow flyweights closely. It gives them a reason to care beyond champ versus challenger. It's about whether a rising star can become a champion before the window closes, and whether a champion can keep calm under pressure and stop a fast climb.
One punch and one little mistake can change anything, especially against Peter Yan. He's a dangerous opponent. I'm just gonna train hard. I will be ready for worse. I believe I can make it look easy. Hopefully he's a better person now. It's gonna be a good fight. He's a former champion.
The co-main feels like a sprint with traps, and that makes it must watch. The next featured fight they highlight is Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. On paper, it's a fascinating clash. Cejudo is a former two-division UFC champion and an Olympic wrestling gold medalist. He brings extreme experience, fight IQ, and a toolbox built over years at the top. Talbot is a new wave fighter with speed, fresh ideas, and the bravery to try things mid-fight. When the show talks about this matchup, it becomes a story of eras meeting. Can the master technician solve the young puzzle? Or has the game changed enough that fresh timing and modern reads can overcome classic skills? Fights like this also carry a bigger meaning. If Talbot beats a legend, he becomes a star overnight. If Cejudo wins, he shows that wisdom and discipline still beat youth and buzz. It matters where on the card this fight sits too. As a featured bout under two title-level fights, it sets the tone for future title pictures. Fans love seeing the past and the future collide because either way, the division gets clarity.
The lead up to this fight, I said, I bet the main event is the fight of the night. Didn't see that coming, but not shocked either. I mean, you go in and dominate the way that he dominated. You can do it the first round.
It's a weird one, right? They're landing strikes. He's landing about 200 punches a round, but they're not quite hard enough to end the fight. Are you glad the referee doesn't wave the fight off in that?
Listen, I don't know how hard they are.
The hosts present it as an important checkpoint in the division, a fight that will tell us who is truly ready to chase gold next. Then there's a sudden rush of breaking news. Dana White, the UFC president, goes on Instagram during the show and announces that Khamzat Chimaev is headlining an upcoming UFC event. This surprise lands like a plot twist. Viewers are watching a normal card breakdown, and suddenly, they get a huge reveal. The hosts react like fans, which makes it more exciting. The timing is perfect. It makes the episode feel alive, as if news is cracking open in real time. Chimaev brings a lot of drama because he's talked about moving across divisions, smashing opponents, and chasing belts quickly. The announcement doesn't just tell you who is fighting, it reminds you that the UFC can flip the table with one post. The show uses that moment to lock in the audience's attention. You feel the pulse quicken. It also hints that the UFC plans to make late-year cards as big as possible. A headline like Chimaev's return changes the conversation for weeks. Fans start arguing about matchups, game plans, and the path to titles. A breaking announcement is not just news, it's gasoline on the fire. Chimaev then talks about his dream path. He wants to win the welterweight title, then jump to middleweight, win that belt too, and retire right after. He calls it a quick 1-2, like a combo you throw and then step away. This plan feels bold, almost like a movie script. For a fighter, it's risky but exciting. It means taking on the best at two different weights, one after another, with no slowdown. It also means timing is everything. You have to pick the right fights, stay healthy, and avoid long layoffs. The hosts present it as a dream scenario, which lets fans imagine how it might look if it were. Would he be remembered as a legend who shocked the sport in a short burst, or would the rush create a stumble that changes his story? Setting the dream out loud matters because it forces a clear standard. If he fights at welterweight and wins, people will immediately ask about middleweight. If he fights at middleweight first, they'll ask about welterweight. Saying the plan out loud makes every move part of a bigger story, and that is why fans care. It gives meaning to each matchup. Another fighter in the show explains why he took a risky fight even after a big win. He doesn't want to sit and wait for a perfect matchup or for rankings to line up just right. He says there are no easy fights in the UFC. Everyone hits hard, everyone is skilled, and if you want a title shot, you must be undeniable. This is a simple idea said clearly. Fight often, fight anyone, and keep winning so the UFC has to give you what you earned. He points out that rankings don't really make the fights, the company does. So your job is to say yes and prove it in the cage. This mindset helps fans understand why some matchups look strange on paper. Maybe you beat a top guy, then get a rising prospect next. It's not about numbers next to names, it's about building a case in real time. His attitude also teaches younger fans a lesson about work. If you want something big, keep showing up. Don't complain or stall. That approach feeds the audience's love for action and bravery. It makes the sport feel honest and sharp. They also talk about Chimaev's last performance in detail. The guest praises Chimaev's wrestling, saying he controlled his opponent and made it look easy for long stretches. But he also points out a key weakness he noticed in the opponent: trouble getting back up. He explains that being held down and side control is not as tiring for the person on top as it seems, and that if an opponent can't scramble up, the top fighter saves energy. He then compares that to other grapplers in the top 5 who do know how to get up, break grips, and force resets. Against those fighters, rides become longer, scrambles get messy, and the person on top burns more energy. He believes that even someone like Sean Strickland could make the wrestling exchanges harder. Not because Strickland is a better wrestler, but because he knows how to survive, delay, and tire opponents. This is a smart, simple breakdown. It says Chimaev is great, but he's not perfect, and styles make fights. It teaches viewers how to watch wrestling exchanges more closely, not just the takedown, but what happens next, over and over, for many minutes. The show returns to the idea that rankings don't run the UFC. They talk about how fans often argue #1 contender should get the next shot, but in reality, the company builds cards that make sense for timing, injuries, and storyline. The fighter speaking says he can only control what he does, keep winning, keep saying yes, and make it impossible to be ignored. This idea is both honest and freeing. It means fighters who stay busy can pass people who sit still, even if the number next to their name is lowered. It also explains why a fighter might go from beating a champion to facing a young prospect. The goal is to stay active and keep eyes on you. For fans, this can be frustrating when their favorite fighter waits for a match that never comes, but the show helps them see the bigger picture. Activity plus performance equals opportunity. By saying this out loud, the episode encourages a certain kind of fighter spirit, one that creates fewer delays and more great fights. It tells the audience to judge not just who you beat, but how often you're brave enough to show up. At the end, they move to the Bantamweight picture with Umar Nurmagomedov and Mario Bautista. Bautista's on a strong win streak and has beaten respected names, which gives him a case for a bigger fight. Umar is seen as a major talent with slick skills and a smart, measured style. The speaker says if Umar wins again, he still might need one more fight before a title shot, even though he looks ready. The point is to keep the division moving and avoid the same 3 names stuck at the top. It's a call for fresh blood to earn spots and for contenders to clear each other out first. That way, when a title fight happens, the challenger is not just hyped, but proven against tough opposition. This idea stops a logjam, which hurts fans and fighters. They want momentum. They want new matchups. By laying out one more fight for Umar, the show explains a path that feels fair and exciting. Win, then win again, then fight for gold. Simple, earned. It closes the episode on a forward-looking note. Divisions thrive when up-and-comers take chances. Veterans hold their ground, and champions keep stepping in. The video wraps up with a mix of excitement and realism that captures exactly why MMA fans love this sport. Between Khamzat Chimaev's shocking fight announcement, Merab's record-breaking mission, and the stacked UFC 323 lineup, it's clear the end of the year will be loaded with drama, action, and unforgettable moments. The hosts balance breaking news with smart fight talk, showing how every matchup connects to the bigger picture: who's rising, who's proving themselves, and who's chasing greatness before time runs out. What makes the show stand out is its energy. It feels like friends talking about the fights they can't wait to see, not just reporters reading notes. You can hear the passion when they break down Chimaev's dream to win 2 titles and walk away a legend, or when they explain why even small changes in matchups can change entire divisions. It's not just about fights, it's about the journey, the risks, and the drive to be undeniable. If you love hearing real MMA talk, bold predictions, and the biggest UFC news as it breaks, don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button now and join the fight fans who never miss a moment.